And just like that, it's time for our weekly roundup of all the things Lady just ain't gonna do this week. Number 1, act like addiction isn't a real thing impacting Black folks. The world is hard as fuck right now. And on top of that, we lost a great man this week. Michael K. Williams, the legendary actor who played Omar on The Wire and Montrose in Lovecraft Country, was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment over the Labor Day weekend. He was 54 years old. It's suspected that he died of a drug overdose. Williams was really candid about his struggles with addiction. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I cannot stop thinking about it. If you have ever loved someone with an addiction, you know that this is our worst nightmare, that they'll be found dead after it's all just been too much. We lose so many of our greats to addiction, and we're failing them, and we're failing ourselves because we make addiction a taboo subject. We force people to hide the pain that they're numbing. We deny the pain exists in the first place. We punish people with addiction, taking away their closest relationships, their jobs, their homes, their careers, and yet we don't provide nearly enough supports for people to get the help they need from addiction to the drugs that we peddle. Isn't it enough to be Black? But what about Black and struggling with addiction? Who do we go to? Where is it safe for us? It's a cold fucking world out there, folks. Keep fighting, please, for the sake of all of us who love people with addictions. We gotta expand the possibilities, not restrict the potentials. Next thing Lady Don't Want this week is what the fuck is up with this terrible Hunger Games activism show? When I tell y'all my blood pressure went sky high when I saw this, so Global Citizen is doing a competition show on CBS called Activist, hosted by, y'all ain't ready, Usher, otherwise known as Usher Baby, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Nick Jonas's partner, and Julianne Hough, called The Activist. Now, here's the premise. It's a competition show where inspiring activists team up with 3 high-profile figures, and they, I quote, bring about meaningful change in health, education, or the environment. They compete with each other in challenges, and then there's metrics that are used to evaluate how successful they are. Online engagement, social metrics, and the input of the hosts. The finale is the G20 summit, where the activists will go and try to get money and awareness for their cause from world leaders. And the winner is chosen by whoever gets the biggest financial commitment. Then they get celebrated with a musical performance. Now, Lady doesn't even have the right words for this kind of nonsense. None whatsoever. Let me get this straight. You got the lady who dressed up in blackface for Halloween, a woman who promoted skin lightening products in India, and the man who told T-Pain he ruined music. And they get to give who feedback about what exactly? What you say now? I don't know about you. But Lady's take on this one is, let's just go ahead and stick with Celebrity Jeopardy. This money and motherfuckers want to make a blood sport out of shit people do because the people who are supposed to do it won't. I can just see the pitch meeting now. And so, no, thank you. Leave me out of this shit. Also, can we chat about the G20 summit for a minute? Because I don't think folks understand why this is whack. The G20 summit is a summit that brings together the world's economies to strategize about how to address issues that impact the economy. Now, you can already start to see where this can go wrong real fast, right? The summits are often protested by activists because of the policies that the participating countries enforce that make people's lives miserable. So the idea that you would put activists inside the forum to compete for the most funding is just fucking weird, especially when activists are being killed and jailed in those countries fighting for the things that are now supposedly going to go on this television show and be brought out onto the world stage. Now, this reeks of some save the children type shit, and I, for one, am going to do without it. It's the corporatization of change for me, which means ain't going to be no real change. Y'all really think global leaders just don't know what the problems are and just need exposure to it? Come the fuck on, yo. If you believe that, I got beachfront property in Montana for you, and it's at a good price. Other things Lady just ain't gonna do this week. So look, TIMESUP is in turmoil. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna talk about this because Yeah, but I think it's worth mentioning, especially given this activism shit show of a show that's going to give me a heart attack. Tchen stepped down as CEO of TIMESUP this week to be succeeded by none other than our sister, Monifa Bandele, who we absolutely love, as interim CEO. But here's why Tina stepped down. It's because it came to light, basically, that she and several other high-profile board members of this organization were trying to be a little too bipartisan about sexual violence, advising high-profile people like former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo how to beat sexual harassment allegations, while also running an organization that was supposed to be supporting survivors of sexual violence. This week, several of those board members resigned, and the global advisory board that was comprised of actual activists who know what the damn deal is was dissolved. Now, I don't usually speak on organizational drama because I know how fucking hard it is to run an organization. And when the regular drama that happens when people try and accomplish something together gets out into the world to be scrutinized by people who ain't in it and don't know much about what it means to run a thing, those people get involved, it gets real messy. I get it. However, there's a lot at stake with this one. And frankly, I always was curious about what it was actually trying to do and who was advising them on how to do it. There's a lot of power that could be built through this industry. But in building that power, you gotta be willing to dislodge power too. And it really didn't seem like that was on the menu. Now, I know what my sister Rona and the Me Too movement is out here doing. I mean, they're actually supporting survivors to reclaim joy and healing. TIMESUP had and still has a lot of potential, but it can't play both sides of the fence, and it cannot be afraid to challenge power, no matter who's wielding it, child. Now, we're going to keep following this story, and please, in the meantime, support my sister Monifa as she works to right the ship. She going to need our love and our faith, honey, because there is a big fucking mess on aisle 5. Now, here's what we want more of this week. Lady loves pushing people with the power of government to wrap it up, back it up, and get the goddamn vaccine. Insert some asterisks there. Now, President Biden used his authority today to require millions more people to get vaccinated against the Rona. Approximately 80 million people in this country have not been vaccinated. Not all of this is assholery. Some people cannot take the vaccine and have valid concerns about how it will impact a disability or a chronic illness or even a pregnancy. I get it. Now, some people want the vaccine and they can't get it because racism. We got to talk about this. But also, all those folks are not the majority of people who are unvaccinated. Too many people out here who can get the vaccine won't get the vaccine and also won't take precautions to keep from spreading the Rona and her cousins, honey. That's the Venn diagram we're targeting here. Now, businesses with more than 100 workers will require employees to be vaccinated. That business must give employees time off to get vaccinated, or they will be forced to undergo weekly Rona testing. This move affects 80 million workers, and federal workers and federal contractors are also required to be vaccinated. Lady loves this, and I'm really just not sure what took so long, with the exceptions that I mentioned earlier. I mean, imagine if this had been in place from the beginning. Other things Lady loves this week, the Justice Department, which is finna fuck Texas all the way up, honey. Well, gratefully, the U.S. Department of Justice, that we now have one again, has announced that it is suing the great state of Texas for that fucked up ass abortion law that prohibits nearly all abortions in the state. Texas tried to flex on the Constitution, and the DOJ said thanks, but no thanks. Really, it's the enforcement clause for us. And for the DOJ, apparently, that is the most egregious part of this. I mean, constitutional law says you can't keep a person from deciding to terminate their pregnancy. But Texas tried to do just that by deputizing vigilantes to enforce the law and receiving a reward of at least $10,000 for turning anyone in who supports someone else to get an abortion. Ugh. So foul, y'all. So foul. Other things Lady loves this week. Sorry for the camera, y'all. You gonna live. Other things Lady loves this week is that her paperback was released. Y'all, thank you from the top and bottom of my heart for loving all up on my book, which is out in paperback this week. That's right. The Purpose of Power is in bookstores across the world. Across the world. Yes, I said that. And if you didn't grab yours because the pandemic and all the other shit going on in the world, there's never been as good of a time as right now. If you already got the book and you feel like snagging another copy, do it. It's got a new chapter from me and a new foreword from Rashad Robinson, president of Color of Change and my brother from another mother. And also, it's got a beautiful new cover. Other things Lady loves this week, Queen Sugar is back, honey, and it's delicious. It's been one whole ass week, and I'm gonna be honest, I have not even really had the time to sit down on this new couch and watch anything. But last night, after a good cry and good convos with my peoples, all alone in my house, which I'm actually really loving, I sat on my couch with some round table pizza, and yes, it was that kind of day, but to my credit, I had a salad and salmon earlier in the day, so whatever. And I watched the season premiere of Queen Sugar. I don't know, I'm a couple days late, but whatever, it happens. I loved it. Ralph Angel finna get the land foreclosed on. Aunt Vi is all up in her feelings about every fucking thing. Micah's out here fucking his teacher. And Charlie is out here getting it on with Davis again, honey. Yes. And wait, why the police went and fucked up OG Proctor? Nova, you in trouble, girl? Now let's see what Ava does with this defund the police storyline. I was feeling what Lena did on The Shy, so I will definitely be looking out for this.